Hi, welcome to Yoga with Lynn and Leo. This is day 14 of 19 days of yoga. If you haven't done so already, please do click on the subscribe button. You can click on the like button if you like any of our videos, or make a comment. We love to hear from the users of the channel. Coming into Adho Svanasana, dog head down to start with. Lynn in the white top is doing the classic versions of the poses. Leo in the coloured top is doing the modified actions. So Leo has come from hands and knees, Lynn has come from a prone position into dog pose, pressing back with the thighs, lifting up with the sitting bones and moving the abdomen back to the spine. Let the head and neck completely release, sides of the neck long, but the legs are working strongly, pushing away from you. Now look forwards. You're either going to step or jump your feet forwards into an Uttanasana action. You can see that Lynn doing the classic poses has taken the feet together. Leo doing the modified actions has taken the feet apart. If you need to use bricks, you can see Leo here is taking the bricks to raise herself up. If your hamstrings are a little tight at this point in time, it's better to use the bricks, get the lift through the legs, and gradually the hamstrings will become longer over time. Lynn is doing the classic action, forward folding down the legs. It's quite an extreme action. Either step or jump the feet back into Adho Svanasana, dog head down. So once again, pushing into the hands, press the heel of the hand down, press the knuckles down, spread your fingers, rotate the upper arms from the inside out at the very top of those arms and push the thighs away from you. Look at your feet, making sure that they're not swinging in or swinging out. So we're coming down now into Adho Mukha Virasana, forward extending hero pose. Take the toes together and the heels apart. Take the knees slightly wider than the hips. Fold forwards and rest the head onto the floor. The buttocks stay back on the heels in this action. Coming up, we're coming into a standing position now. If you're working in the modified versions, you can take a foam pad to take the heels up onto. Otherwise, stand in Tadasana towards the back of your mat. We're stepping forwards into a Virabhadrasana 1 warrior 1 action here. So if you're using the foam pad, you can take your heels up onto the foam pad, turn the left foot out slightly and step forwards with your right foot, leveling your pelvis. So draw back on your right hip, forwards on your left hip, lift your frontal hip bones up and move the abdomen back to the spine. Swing the arms up, stretch into your fingertips. Lengthen your tailbone, press into that back leg heel and bend into an angle on the front leg. If this is a difficult pose for you, if it causes you any discomfort, then please do look at our yoga pose directory. We have a tutorial on this pose. Lift the back leg thigh, but keep lifting through those frontal hip bones to keep the extension and length in the hip flexors on the back leg. Stretch into your fingertips to come up. Keep extending into the fingers. Lift through the chest. Bring your hands down and step forwards into Tadasana. Lift through the chest, weight back into the heels. So we're going to step back now with the right foot, coming again into this forward facing action. So turn the pelvis so that it faces towards the narrow end of your mat. Press firmly into that back leg heel, whether it's lifted and raised or whether it's onto the floor. Swing the arms up and stretch into your fingertips. Get the extension through the whole of the front torso. Bend your front leg. See, can you make a square with that front leg? But it's important that the back leg stays strong and straight. So don't allow the back leg knee to dip towards the floor. Press into the back leg heel bone, Lift the back leg, frontal thigh, muscle to the bone. Extend and straighten the legs. Hands down, stepping forwards into Tadasana. Standing in Tadasana, extending the fingertips down, extending the crown of the head towards the ceiling. So we're coming into our next pose now. If you're doing the modified actions, you can have a couple of bricks here. We're going to hinge forwards and take the hands down underneath the shoulders. So the hands can either come onto bricks or onto the floor. We're going to be extending back with the left leg. So place the left toes onto the floor behind you, keep the pelvis level, and raise the left leg up until it is in line with your pelvis. So here we have to really move the abdomen back to the spine and rotate that raised leg gluteal crease from the inside to the outside to keep the pelvis at a level height rather than lifting the left buttock up higher than the right buttock. We want to keep both sides of the pelvis at the same height. Extend strongly into the raised leg inner heel and hit the thigh muscle to the bone. Release down and come back into your Uttanasana, feet together. Take your right foot back and extend the leg up. So we have to rotate that raised leg from the inside to the outside. So keep lifting through that raised leg, but also press down into the outer edge of your standing leg and lift the inner thigh. Release that right leg down. We're going to go again with the left leg now. If this is a challenging pose for you, you can always take the foot onto a support. So lift your left leg. You can always put the toes of that left foot onto the back of a chair, a counter, a table, something like that, until you get the strength and the lift in this action, and also the extension in the hamstrings and hip flexors. Release that left leg down. We're going to take the right leg up now, so point the toe back and lift. All the time rotating that gluteal crease of the raised leg from the inside to the outside, stretching into your inner heel and extending the toes away from you. Keep the breath fine and even through the nostrils. Don't clamp the jaw. Keep the facial muscles passive, even if it's a challenging, hard action for you. Release that leg down. And standing in Tadasana. Let the breath recover. Fine inhalation, fine exhalation through the nostrils. Extend down into the fingertips. Lift up through the crown of the head. Take the weight back into the heel rims. Move your thigh bones back. Just re-establish your stability. Come into Virasana, which is a kneeling action. Lynn will be doing the classic version, sitting between the heels. This is quite a strong action. With our beginners, we sit them on at least 2 foam pads. If you've got knee problems, then do look at the pose directory, or even better, consult an Iyengar yoga teacher for the correct way of working. You can see that Leo here is sitting onto 1 foam pad. We're coming into a twisting action. So we're turning to the right, taking the left hand to the outside of the right thigh, the right hand behind. The important thing in all of these seated twists is to get the lift before you turn. So inhale, extend up with the spine. Exhale, rotate. Use your hands to get that rotation. If you need to have a brick behind you, if you're sitting on a height, then do take a brick or a couple of foam pads. Turning to the left now. So the right hand comes to the outside of the left thigh, the left hand comes behind you. Press down with your shins, lift up with your chest. Use your hands as levers to get the rotation from the base of the spine. With this pose, as in all the yoga poses, there should be no discomfort in your knees. If there is, please consult your teacher to find the best way for you to work. Come out of the pose. Bring your hands forwards, swing your legs to the front, and sit in Dandasana, either onto 1 or 2 foam pads or onto the floor, as you can see Lynn in the white is doing. So lift through the chest, have the hands beside the hips, roll the shoulders back and down, and extend strongly into your inner heels. Keep the breath fine and even. We're going to come into our inversions now. You need your platform for this. We've shown this in the previous days, so you should be quite familiar with this. Getting your platform ready with your launch pad, shoulders onto the platform. If you're using a chair for your Halasana, you need to have that behind you. You can see that here Leo is just getting the chair into the right position. A launch pad underneath the sacrum protects you when you roll down and helps you as you roll up into the pose. So press the hands down by the hips and roll into Halasana, Plow Pose. Take your hands into your back to support you, but you have to roll the elbows in first. So move your elbows towards one another, support your hands onto your back so that your back ribs are lifting up, and then come up into Sarvangasana, shoulder balance. You can see here that Lynn is pushing the back ribs in with her fingers and lifting the side ribs up with the thumbs. Extend into the inner heels. Roll the very top of the thighs in towards one another. Keep moving the hands out of the waist and towards your shoulders. Take the weight back into the elbows. So the elbows have a tendency to get a little light in this pose. So move the weight back into those elbow regions, and at the same time press the back ribs in firmly with your fingers. Keep the lift and extension through the legs. Stretch into your inner heels. Gaze into the chest. And lift the metatarsals away from your face. Coming down into Halasana now, either to the chair or to the floor, Plow Pose. Keep the legs strong and lifted. And now to roll out of the pose, bend your knees into the chest. Slowly and with control, come down. Lift up to take the launch pad out from underneath the pelvis, place it under your head. Just rest down with the legs bent. This allows the body to rest, the back to settle down, and you can regain your breath. If these inversions are difficult for you, take a look at our yoga pose directory. In our backlist of titles, we've got a number of tutorials on different poses. We have also got in our playlists poses that will help you with these inversions. So rest down, allow the eyes to close, let the throat be soft. Give yourselves a moment to rest and recover. Observe the breath, observe the movement of the ribs. We're coming out of the poses now, so gently roll to your right. You can either use your platform here or the bolster. We're coming into a Supine Sukhasana, simple cross legs action. So you can cross your legs onto your support, as Lynn is showing here, onto the platform, or you can take a bolster, wrap that in the foam, in the sticky mat, and cross your legs, placing your feet onto the sticky mat. Have the arms down by the side of the body with the palms facing the ceiling, rolling the shoulders back and down. Let the groin soften and release. Let the weight of the legs open out in the inner thighs. If you need to have a blanket behind your head, then please do take that. Allow the facial muscles to soften and relax. Releasing your throat. Let the fingertips curl in. The center of the hand feels soft. Observe the breath and observe the releasing in your body. With every inhalation, direct the breath to any areas of tension. With every exhalation, allow those areas of tension to release. Changing the cross of the legs now. If there's any discomfort in the groins, you can always support the outer thighs with rolled blankets or cushions so that you can really open and relax in this action. Whenever you're doing your relaxation at the end of your practice, there should be no discomfort. You need to completely relax and release in these actions. Soften the facial features. Let the eyelids be soft where they meet one another. Don't grip around the eyes. Ensure that your teeth are not gripping together. That your throat is relaxed. That the facial features are soft and releasing. So we're going to come out of the poses now. Bend your knees, carefully roll to your right, and then bring yourselves into a seated position. Thank you for joining us today. Remember that if you've enjoyed the videos, please subscribe. Namaste. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again in the following days. Don't forget to join us for day 19, when we're hoping to give you a special edition of 19 days.